a faffing around video with Negronis. So I've made a video on Negronis before, what my perfect blend of Negroni is. It's always the third, but I tend to prefer the cheap vermouth, Tanqueray export strength gin, which is 43.1%, and Campari. That's my favourite, and I don't pre-mix beforehand. I mix it and then drink it straight away. No kind of aging or anything like that. And I think it's I find that about a 43% volume gin is kind of the winning combination. Or maybe it's just actually the Tanqueray gin itself that I particularly like in a Negroni, which is kind of quite strong. If I go stronger than that, so if I go to a Tanqueray 10, which is I think about 45% volume off the top of my head, or bump in 45%, it's just a little bit too strong, if I'm honest. Whereas if I use something that's not as strong as the 43%, like this Old Tom gin, which is at 40%, or something that's at 39% or 37%, it's just not kind of quite right. I like that the 43% just seems to be the right amount of alcohol. So I was thinking, can I, because I've got some pure alcohol, well, it's not pure alcohol, it's 95%. We'll get into the calculations in a bit. But can I take some of the pure alcohol and top up the weaker gin to make it more alcoholic, and will it taste the same as a Tanqueray gin? Is it the contributing factor that I like in my Tanqueray gin? Is it the strength of the alcohol and the gin that's in it, or is the actual flavour of the gin? So that's my thoughts. We're going to have some of this, some of that, and then we're going to do a taste test against my favourite Negroni. It's self-indulgent, but it was something on my mind. I was just kind of thinking, oh, I'll kind of play around with this. So I was like, and then I was kind of like, well, how are we going to work out how much exact amount of alcohol to add to the gin to take it up to 43%? So I had a bit of a think, and I play around with things, and I'm all right with maths, but I have a different way of thinking about things, as always. So the way I kind of worked it out, and this is also very difficult as well, because I'm going to do it on weight, and just because I haven't got anything, I haven't got a good enough measuring jug to measure out exact amounts. I should have thought about this beforehand, but I'm going to do it on weight. And the only problem with doing it in weight is that alcohol has a different specific gravity than water, and so when you're dealing with things that are a percentage of alcohol and a percentage of essentially water isn't a liquid, and then it starts to become a little bit different to do things, a little bit difficult to do things on weight. But I'm still going to do it on weight, because I just kind of think that will probably be the best kind of route to go down. And there's going to be a little bit of leeway. We're never going to get. It's not a proper experiment by any stretch of the imagination. So my theory was, what we'll do is we'll add, and I kind of worked it out, and my workings out are on a bit of paper, because they always are, and a calculator. I'm sure there's a proper calculation to do this. So my thought is that we will take 100 millilitres of the gin. We will add 6 millilitres of the alcohol. It's at 95%. So, but we're going to take it. It's more like 100, just for the sake of ease. And then, so that will give us 106 millilitres of alcohol, of gin, and that will be at a percentage of 40% of this gin and 100%, which is this gin. So basically, we're adding 6% of gin, of alcohol, to the gin. So that takes it up to 46% volume of alcohol in the gin once we've added that, and with a volume of 106 millilitres. So if we take bear with me on this one, this is how my brain works. I tend to think about things a little bit differently. So we have got 46 millilitres worth of alcohol in the volume. So divide that by 106, which is the total volume weight, and that equals out at 43.39 numbers percent of alcohol in the gin. So that in my head, that's kind of about right. And don't ask me how I worked it out. I couldn't tell you. I've always just worked out things differently. My brain just works in a different way when it comes to working things out. So I've already made up a Negroni with my favourites, and then I've put in some vermouth and some Campari in that. So we just need to make up the stronger version of the weaker gin. So we've got 100 millilitres ish. It keeps wanting there's 99. It's 100 now. So it's not exact. So we need to add 6 millilitres, 6 grams of this almost pure alcohol to this to take the gin up to a higher percent of alcohol. So need to be careful. That's 2. Very scientific, I'll have you know. That's 4. 5. Almost that. 6. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. So we'll give that a mix. Dun, dun, dun. So give that a mix. So, if my calculations are right, this gin is now at about 43%. So it's taking up 3% worth of volume of the alcohol. So we can get rid of that. We can get rid of those. And then we can add this to the premixed Campari and vermouth. So we just need a shot of that to take it up to 3. We have mixed it. This is very self-indulgent of me, but I'm kind of curious. There was a film with, who's the famous? James, not Cagney. Oh no, James Cagney was in it. Also with the other, Jimmy Stewart. Jimmy Stewart was in it as well. And they're on a ship and they make their own whiskey from medical alcohol and Coca-Cola and iodine and hair tonic. So I've always been fascinated, and I suppose this is kind of where that comes from. So we want some ice, just a rock of ice in each. So it's not exactly how I would normally make a Negroni, but I'm just kind of curious. So I'll give that a stir around. So I shouldn't really be doing that and mixing them over, because that contaminates the experiment. So we'll see. This is the proper one. This is the fake one. So we'll see how we go. That's a delicious Negroni, my favourite. And how's this one? That is a delicious Negroni. I suppose I should make one that's that, but I've already had Negroni making with the less alcohol gin, and it never just kind of sits right with me. It's just not quite nice. If I go around to people's houses and they go, oh, let's have a Negroni, and they always make it with like a less alcohol kind of content gin, and it's alright, but it's not. It's never just exactly how I want it. So there we go. The experiment works. It's you could see, Tanqueray is kind of quite expensive as well. So potentially what I could do is I could buy a cheaper gin like this, and I could doctor it up to 43% ish. It's not a proper experiment with parameters and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, I could take a Old Tom gin, add a little bit more industrial grade alcohol to it, and turn it into a stronger alcohol content gin, and make a better Negroni. Cost wise, it's probably not worth it, if I'm honest. With the faff of getting some alcohol and making some kind of cheap. I don't know how cheap you can get your gin, because I always tend to buy Tanqueray unless I'm buying something like this, which was for a different cocktail, and out of curiosity. But anyway, so there we go. That works. We now know how to make to doctor lower alcohol gin to make it taste a lot better, and the way I personally personally like my Negroni. So there we go, a success. We haven't had many of those recently, and so it's nice to have a success.